I've come from Australia because I'm really here to represent the millions of Australians who are very concerned for Mr. Assange, for the work of WikiLeaks, and for the fact that justice is done. I'm really concerned if he finds his way to Sweden that he will then be onwardly extradited to the United States, and I've got very serious concerns for his safety.
Today, the High Court has decided that an issue that arises from my own case is of general public importance, maybe of assistance in other cases, and should be heard by the Supreme Court. I think that is a correct decision, and I am making a long struggle for justice for me and others continues.
The key issue is that if he's in Sweden, he can be temporarily, effectively lent to the United States government.
But the same as if he was in the UK, right?
No, the UK has a regular extradition treaty with the United States. They don't have this mechanism for temporary surrender, and I think that's what's not well understood. The UK doesn't have a similar temporary surrender mechanism. I'm concerned, I suppose, with the fact that the prosecutors in Sweden appear to have sought extradition as a first recourse. If they simply are after him for questioning, they could have done that either in the office of the High Commission or by video conference. They've not sought to do that. They've sought to move immediately for extradition, which I think is a great concern. As for the specifics of the charges, if there ever actually are formal charges laid, that's for the courts to decide.
What we've seen since the EAW was introduced is a lot of unintended consequences. You know, there is a laudable objective to have streamlined criminal prosecution across the EU, but what has happened is that the unintended consequences have been profound. We have had an extraordinary array of examples of people who've been extradited for crimes which the UK Parliament wouldn't necessarily consider to be criminal conduct, for example pig rustling, and we've also seen some very serious cases, for example the case of Andrew Symeou. Andrew spent 4 years in a Greek prison before finally being exonerated of the crime earlier this year.
Look, a resolution would be for some sense to prevail in the United States. The High Court here in London and the Walkley Association in Australia have acknowledged that Mr. Assange is a journalist, that WikiLeaks is a publishing organisation, and in fact he's therefore protected by the First Amendment to the US Constitution. They're working in the public interest to expose things that governments would prefer weren't exposed, but that is the work of journalism, that is the work of the media. It's a very important role in the public interest. So we need some kind of sense to prevail that is what this organisation has been doing. I hope he's successful in his application to the Supreme Court.